Good morning, students. It's our chapter number one of the book number second. It's our last chapter of this book because our first book we already done, and in second book it's our last chapter, the political theory and its introduction. Now, what is politics? Why we read the politics? What is the importance of politics in our day-to-day life? All these contents we will discuss in our topics. Now, people have different ideas on the meaning of politics. People deal or treat the meaning of politics accordingly. So, political leaders and electoral contents regard politics as a it is simple a public service. There are others who link politics with the manipulations so that people can satisfy their needs and ambitions. In modern times, we can say that politics is even linked with the manipulations of different sections and the criminalization, the scandals, etc. Various critics and writers also describes that it is dirty politics. It is the negative politics. A selfish mode type of politics is considered as a negative politics. It is fortunate that politics is associated with the pursuit of the self-interest by any method. Like Gandhiji once described that politics involves us like a coil of snake, and there is no other way but to the wrestle with it. A number of social institutions emerged so that people could fulfill their goals, their demands, their aspirations, their requirements, etc. Government was an important ingredient of such institutions. Whatever governments do affect the life of people. Government may promote violence, disruptions, or help people by providing education and employment. Thus, politics involves multiple negotiations that are found in society or and which led to formation of collective decisions. For a better understanding of politics, it is valuable to see the ideas and or the definitions or the ideologies of various writers. The major point is that the politics lies in our inability to separate the ideas of politics from the personal ideological commitments and socio-economic status of life. While for some politics represents the noblest sentiments of human freedom, justice, equality. For others, it is an evil science and evil signs which cause miseries and suffering of humanity. It is also a very difficult science worth of serious study. Whenever uh, point of view that we generally describe uh, that might subscribe to this fact, but we just cannot afford to ignore politics. In this way, the Marshall Berman rightly said that whenever you are or want to be, you may not be interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. Same like Aristotle also called that politics is a master science as political participation of every individual in the life of polis. Politics for the Greek was an all embarrassing concept and covered all aspects of human society. There is hardly any aspect of our being which is not affected by good or bad of politics. Jean Blondel also write that politics is a universal activity. It is a universal activity, and it is really a fact that politics is a universal activity, because every democracy adopt the idea of politics, means the game of election, the game of representation, the game of fulfill its tenure, a government fulfill its tenure, starting from village or the lower level to the national and international levels. Politics create as well as solve the problems, makes as well as unmakes the personalities. It brings us peace as well as conflict, uh, prosperities as well as destructions in the society. This is no aspect of human environment today which is free of state interference, and it is really also true that a liberal democratic western societies, such as much as of the so called iron curtain countries, like that Jean Blonde also described that whether we belong to a small or a large country, the actions of our government and the activities of our government of the great powers will shape our destiny. Means a nation's growth, development, and all the participations generally depends on the active role of our government. Now, the various meanings and the dimensions of politics. Generally, it is considered as the politics as a science, politics as an art, politics as an ideal. It is a Greek point of view, the traditional concept of politics. Now, as a politics as a art, or no, we can say that according to the Wasbe, politics is generally argued to be an art, the art of possible, while the study of politics is through to be a science. The dividing line between the two, however, is extremely thin. Means the what is exactly is divided, the term is very thin line. Political skills can be acquired through a process of learning in a scientific manner, but there are many things in the political process which are basically creative and therefore uh, have a great qualities of arts. Politics is a query combination of art and science, and that is the thin line between art and science. In this regard, various writers also describe that in this L. Wesby described that we think of politics as an art because of politicians is judge basically in terms of their own views, although the means he uses are not unimportant. A political scientist, a comparison by comparison, a judge, at least as mark in terms of the methods he has used in his work as in terms of result, because the methods affect the study, the possibility of the particular person's result. Now it is as a science, then the claim of politics to be a science has been challenged as the subject lacks the attributes of physical and natural science. Politics is basically subjective. By science, we mean knowledge gaining by observation and experiments, critically tested, systematic or systematized, brought under general principles of this context. Study of politics today is a scientific discipline to a large extent. On the basis of the imperial research, politics has emerged as an autonomous and independent discipline with the theoretical structure of its own. David Eston described that the factor that has contributed most to this and has been the receptions and integrations of the method of science into the core of the discipline is considered as a science. Now the politics as an ideal form, we can describe that it is a Greek point of view, and Greeks believe that the state should shout to pursue the well-being of its citizens in the fullest and trusted sense of the word. It ought not to make wealth or power or equality of its aim. According to Barker, it is that dictatorial aspect of science that the politics through of the Greek briefly concentrates itself. So it is also made a distinction or a clear difference between the real state and the actual state. The state various dimensions rather the fulfillment of them. For him or for us, that the real state was the ideal state. Politics therefore deals with the ideals. It must consider what the state might be rather than what it is in order to understand what it is. It was Aristotle who made the study of politics is a systematic and scientific discipline. According to Aristotle, that he called it is a master science, a new and general type of subject which included not only the subject of state but also social and moral elements. In his book, means Aristotle's book Politics, introduced the comparative analysis of analysis as a method of study of politics, which is an accepted method still today. Aristotle's analysis of 158 cities states constitutions to conclude that the state was not only a legal framework but also a manner of life, a need of life, but it constitutes for a shake of a good life. So overall, we can say that Greek point of view or the Greek politicians can be summed it under that it made no basic difference between the state and society. It considered state to be a moral association. It wanted to establish an ideal state where man could ideal lead an ideal life. Aristotle called politics as a master science and adopted the scientific methods for the study of politics. Now, the traditional point of view of politics as a study of the state and the government. The traditional point of view describes and advocated by Hobbes, Bunstill, Garner, Gettle, etc. With the rise of the nation states, politics assumed as the name of the political science. It is generally considered as the study of the state, or under this, the political science is the science which is considered with the state in its fundamental conditions, in its basic conditions. Politics is considered with the study of government, and in this regard, Shelley wrote that political science investigate the phenomena of government as political economy deals with wealth. Leacock said that political science deal with government. Political science is considered with the study of both the state and the government. Paul Janet describes that political science is that part of social science which treats the foundations of the states and the principle of the government. Thus, the traditional view of politics therefore regards it as the study of state and government. The traditional thinkers neglected the scientific methods. They follow the subjective, deductive, descriptive, and normative approach of the study. They did not intermingle politics with the other social science. Now, the modern view of politics. The modern view of politics, followed or described by David Easton and H.D. Loswell. Its basic features are like that politics is considered with the allocation of scarce resources, or it is the study of politics is wider than the study of state and government. Politics includes all those activities and things, all the other activities and things associated with the political life of the individual. It generally includes the society, association, trade unions, political parties, interest group, pressure groups, etc. In this regard, Lipson argued that state, like human association, is born is born in the society and is a part of it. The role of state is much more limited than politics. No doubt that whether state exists, politics exists. But politicians even exist in churches, trade unions, international relations, etc. Means we can say that simply in our practical life, corruption create politics corrupt. The scope of politics is much wider than the role of state. Politics is the art and practice of government of human societies. Politics is an art and behavior of individuals studied in it. It is not concerned only with the limited associations like state. It is considered with all the activities of human society which are not concerned with state. So, politics is an effort to establish law, order, justice, and stability in the society between the interest of individuals and those of society. It secures the common interest by safeguarding the interest of minorities. And rest of the topics we will discuss in our next class.